You're listening to 91.1 The Avenue. My name is Ann Koenig, and this is the Mile of Music coverage on The Avenue, made possible by support from Nicolet Bank. Additional support is provided by Tyme Tours and Bistro. Exciting day in the studio and at Mile of Music. We are in studio with Mile of Music veteran royalty. Dan Rodriguez.
You forgot to roll the R. Royalty.
That's so royalty.
Royalty, my goodness.
So, hey, welcome back to the
my
Mile.
Goodness. I love being here. It's been so long. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I haven't played the Mile since 2019.
It has been since 2019, hasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but there was a virus that went around for a little while, and it kind of.
You're talking about the pox now?
It kind of stopped some shows. So, wow, it's crazy. It's so weird to be here right now because in one way it feels like I was here just a year ago, and then in other ways I feel like I haven't been here for 10 years. Like it just feels so like we were just talking about this before we hit record, but time is like doesn't exist. Like it's just such a weird concept to me at this moment, but it doesn't have to because I'm here in the moment and I'm here with you and here at the Mile, and that's what matters.
Well, thank God. I mean, I think everyone's a little gun shy of saying it, but this feels something like that resembles normal, but not that anyone trusts that, but
I'm just taking one day at a time.
Okay,
it's a good way it's a good approach for me. Good practice.
No grand announcements or pronouncements rather on any of that. Well, great to have you back in town. You're going to be playing Mile of Music, a couple of big stages. Mm-hmm. What do you got? We're
playing the Lawrence. But I am playing the Lawrence. I could say we because my sons are going to join me. Oak and Alder will be on stage, and Megan will be as well for some of it.
Which Lawrence stage?
Yeah, that's right. There's two now. The inside, I believe, the Lawrence Chapel.
The chapel, okay, because there's Harper Hall, and then there's the lawn. So
yeah, I'm doing like a solo acoustic in the chapel at 3, and
beautiful option to hear Dan's voice and guitar in the chapel, with those wonderful acoustics. Make sure you check out your Mile of Music app for all the most up-to-the-minute details on that.
Oh, for sure with the app. And add who you love, the artists that you love, add them to your schedule in the app and make sure you do that piece. Even if you don't utilize that for your own self, the analytics go back to Mile of Music and they see everybody who has all the bands who have been added to schedules, and it helps those bands. So if you love a band and you want to see them back again, add them to your schedule because all those analytics get sent back to Mile of Music at the end, and they can say, well, all of these people loved this band, and so let's have them back again. So
I did not know that.
That's an important piece.
Valuable piece of information for our
So if you love a
listeners.
band, if you love an artist, add them to your schedule in the app, and you'll be helping them.
Well, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So
also, I'm playing at 7:30 at Jones Park with the whole band.
Yeah, a couple of nice and different options. Distinctly different sounds, and in addition to using the app to help artists and to plan your schedule, it's a great roadmap for you after the festival to dig into these artists' playlists and and their work, and that's a fun way to keep in contact with them. I think all the socials are linked there, and the streaming services. So it's a nice one-stop shop. So we haven't. I mean, we talked where we haven't even seen each other since 2019 either, and I mean, I know there were a couple of failed attempts. We're going to try to do something.
Yeah.
Oops, nope, now we're not. Okay, well, let's try this thing. Not happening. What have you been doing? What's going on in Dan Rodriguez's world?
Oh my goodness! So we lived in the city forever in Minneapolis, and we sold our house, and we knew we wanted to get out to the country. All of our hobbies were out in the country. Like in the summer, my wife was driving an hour to go berry picking and bringing it all, doing all that driving back and forth, and then coming home and canning all day. And now she drives 10 minutes to the same berry patch. And I used to drive multiple times a week during the hunting season to go bow hunting up in my friend's apple orchard, and now I get to do it in my backyard. And so we moved out to the country. We're out there, and we've got a place in the woods. Building a songwriters retreat space for artists to come and write and record in the studio if they want to, and just kind of the hope is to gift it to artists, and it's not gonna. It's just something that we want to be able to. There's too many things that people have to pay for to make art, and if we can give them the ability to have a space to create something. Without having to put capital into it, and that's the idea.
And do you mind playing something for us?
I'd love to play something for you, but before we do, I want to say thank you to you, Anne, and to the Avenue, and everybody here for being a light. I mean, you're one of the few places that are not run enough of an algorithmic playlist. You know, you're hand-picking artists, and you're playing. If I reach out and I show you a new song, and you throw it on the air, and you've propped up this festival, you've propped up these artists, and you've propped up this community. And so thank you to you, and thank you to all the listeners, everyone who's listening right now. I was
going to say,
all the people who have donated to keep this thing going. There have been times where we've talked and we weren't sure what next year might look like, and everybody's pulled through, and we are, we're talking still, and it's because of the listeners. It's because of you who are listening right now. So thank you. They've done all the work to prop up the community and the festival and all these artists, but you've done the work to prop up this radio station. So you've really doing the heavy lifting. So
those are very kind words, and I'm going to echo what you said and turn it around on our listeners, because as independent, nonprofit, non-commercial, listener-supported radio, every day we have is because of our listeners and supporters, and I feel that there's so much good music out there that deserves to be heard. And thanks to Mile of Music, they've really created a big appetite for original music and people who are interested in new music discovery. And we feel lucky being the independent station here in this town that can reflect that. So thank you to the listeners, because without you, we are not here. How about a song from Dan Rodriguez?
Can I tell you about the song first?
Please do.
So I mentioned that we sold our house in the city and we moved out to the country. And when we sold our house, it was it was hard, because not only was that like our first house that Megan and I bought when we first got married, and we had so much community there and so many friends come through, it was also where our kids were born. Our boys were born inside the house, because we're those weird hippies that that have their babies at home, and my wife is amazing like that. So it was hard to sell it. So the day before we closed, we went back to the house, and it was empty, and our furniture wasn't in there, and it was here. Should I put my hat on? Are we gonna document this? No, the house didn't feel like a home anymore. But all those memories were in those walls still. And I sat down on the floor, and I was by myself. I cracked open a beer, and I picked up my guitar. I brought my guitar in there, and I sat in the empty house, and I wrote this song. And I was thinking about all the things that I had learned there in that house. And I was looking at the newly remodeled kitchen that I had done with my own hands. And I was thinking about all the memories that we made, but all the things I learned interpersonally and about myself in that home. And that's when this song was born. It's called This Old House. I learned right here in this kitchen how to fix a leak, and I know where I should place my foot so these old stairs don't creak. And I can find my way around in the dark, quiet as a mouse. There's a lot of things I've learned in this old house. I learned how to say I love you and what it really means. And I learned to see the beauty in all the little things.
And I got to see life's miracles spring up from the ground. There's a lot of things I've learned in this old house. I learned happiness is waiting when I stop looking for more. And we watched our children take their very first breaths on this floor. And I learned to let her pour out love when I don't deserve an ounce. There's a lot of things I probably wouldn't know by now without this old house. And I know wherever we're together, we can call it home. But there's something about this little place that we lived for so long. And whatever's round the corner, I know we're glory bound if I use the things I learned in this old house. I learned happiness is waiting when I stop looking for more. And we watched our children take their very first steps on this floor. And I learned to let her pour out love when I don't deserve an ounce. There's a lot of things I probably wouldn't know by now without this old house. Ooh. Yeah. I learned happiness is waiting when I stop looking for more. And we watched our children sing their very first songs on this floor. And I learned to let her pour out love when I don't deserve an ounce. There's a lot of things I probably wouldn't know by now. Yeah, there's a lot of things I probably wouldn't know by now without this old house.